My beliefs about Mr. Gulen is that he's a wise man. He's a spiritual man. He's a visionary. That so impresses me and and leader of the interfaith organizations. My name is Charlotte Connah. I am the chair of the Baptist-Muslim Interfaith Taskforce for the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship of Georgia. We partner with Mercer University with the theology school there named McAfee Schools of Theology. 5 years ago, in 2010, I returned from Israel and Jordan and felt a call to interfaith work. I also felt at that time it was going to require me to further my education, and I entered the Mercer McAfee School of Theology, the seminary there. It wasn't long after being there that I was asked to serve on a new committee, the Baptist-Muslim Interfaith Taskforce. While beginning our work there, I began to meet Muslims within the Atlanta community who were interested in interfaith work, and becoming familiar with Fethullah Gulen and the Hizmet movement was just a natural outflow of building those relationships. And then a year ago, I was asked by the Atlantic Institute, which is a Turkish organization in Atlanta, Georgia, to travel to Turkey as their guest. And while there, I became more familiar with the movement. Since that time, I've attended lectures. I've read some of Mr. Gulen's books and have sort of been through this process of educating myself. I'm very impressed with the Hizmet movement. I must say that it reminds me of the atmosphere I felt within my own country, the United States, in the 1960s, when then President Kennedy was in office, and his famous challenge to all of us to ask not what our country can do for us, but what we can do for our country. As a retired educator, I am very appreciative of what this movement is all about. We better ourselves through education. And as a person of faith and of values, I am also very encouraged and supportive of this movement. My beliefs about Mr. Gulen is that he's a wise man. He's a spiritual man. He's a visionary. He is not one that divides. He is a person that unites others around a common and noble cause. And that cause brings us to look within and to look without. It causes us to better ourselves and to better the world around us. I believe Mr. Gulen's most significant movement is in the area of education, that it is not for a chosen few. That if we take up this cause A good education can be equitable. It can be there for all. I look at the poverty in our country. We've had a war on poverty since the 1960s. And yet the division between wealth and poverty is greater than it's ever been. And I believe that directly corresponds to education, because with education comes opportunity. It is the one factor that we must all aspire to if we're going to better ourselves, to broaden our horizons, and to be able to help this world become a better place. I'm also very much taken with how he partners education with our own spiritual development, adherence to our faith, whatever that faith is, and how he has called for the inclusion of science partnered with religion. That in addition to developing ourselves spiritually, we develop ourselves rationally. I'm also very impressed with Mr. Gulen's position on the melding of both science and religion, whatever your religion or faith practices may be. That beyond the emotion that goes with religion, he has so balanced that with the rationalism that comes through science. So it is a balanced approach. One of the things that so impresses me and so speaks to my own personal beliefs is the fact that Mr. Gülen he not only began this movement in an honorable way, this movement has continued in an honorable, unselfish way. It does not bow to any political party. It does not bow to, and by that I mean accept money from, self-serving interests of others. It is very equitable in its application, in both how it serves and for those who are able to be part of it. It is a great respecter of persons. It is a great respecter of a civil society that reflects honor and values and education, responsibility, and service. Being a member and leader of one of the interfaith organizations within my state, it's always such great news to encounter other movements that focus on interfaith. Our world is crying out for this. We've been divided by politics. We've been divided by economics. We've been divided by opportunity. We've been divided by our own suspicions, our own prejudices. And I believe that through the interfaith focus of the Gülen movement, through the interfaith focus of other organizations within the United States and around the world, we can build bridges. We can tear down walls that abolish the things that have so divided us. Our world is smaller. It's more united today in terms of media. I can know what's going on in Turkey in a moment's time with satellites transmitting to our TVs here and vice versa. And it's important that we reflect a common cause, and that is the good of society, the good of mankind. And interfaith activities are certainly the vehicle toward that. I'm amazed that Hizmet has moved so far in a relatively short period of time, and that they have moved not only in the area of education, but they have moved outside of that into healthcare by building hospitals, into relief organizations that serve those who've been struck by disaster, in famine relief. There's no one that Hizmet has felt is undeserving, regardless of who they are, where they are. And once again, I come back to the fact that this is an organization that truly believes in the value of every person and that we should be treated equitably. And they fight injustice by treating people justly. The fact that they've so reached out to help these people in dire need, regardless of what that need is, just more and more impresses me that the Hizmet movement and Mr. Gülen himself is a movement of great honor. It is one for all of us to respect, and it is one for all of us to emulate by being a part of it. The Hizmet movement has proven itself. It's approaching its 40th birthday, and so we know that this kind of mindset, this call to service, this call to give back, has staying power. When you look at the fact that this organization started within a small community that was comprised of teachers, parents, students working together with local business, and less than 40 years later, it has moved around the globe, that tells me that this movement has tremendous legitimacy. It also has tremendous need, or we have tremendous need of it. Otherwise, this would have died out a long time ago. I know the problems that exist in the world today, whether they be problems with people of different faiths or different economics. We tend to look at our own positions and sometimes see those as being better than those around us, not giving credit where credit is due. And there are some people in our society that live their lives through fear, and they are not open to the movements, the views, the actions of others. They feel the need to protect their own positions. And persons of that nature can be critical of any movement that reaches out to help others. So once again, I think we're called upon, and Mr. Gülen does it beautifully, to study, to grow our minds. And in the growing of our minds, I believe we have the growing of our hearts. And in the growing of our hearts, we have the growing of compassion. And how can you turn away? That's the question I have. How can you turn away?
I think Mr. Gülen is almost like a hermit or like a mystic who has a very deep spiritual life. And I think that accounts for the attraction he has to others.
It's really developing humans, having humans join a movement to help others, not expecting anything but to give a lot, and the return is not important.